What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, another day, another dollar, and I'm coming at you with the ES contract. We're going to be breaking it down 30-minute time frame, looking at our daily time frame as we come, and the monthly as we come into the month's end. Yes, I'm starting this video rather early. We're still in the trading session. Still plenty of time left in the trading session, about 50 minutes left in the trading session, but I have somewhere to be, so I figured I'd go ahead and hop on the video, kind of mark the destinations where I know they're going to be. Currently, I'm not marking out the fact that we could potentially make a new low after I leave, but I'll mark it as, you know, we'll hold it and potentially come in with an 11 wide point of control. Right now, we're sitting 10 wide. So today was a much better day for me trading wise. Made back most of the money I lost yesterday. If you guys watched my videos, it was pretty nasty. I was very upset with myself on how I traded. Not only how I traded, but just more or less how I handled my emotions with the trade. That just kind of really ticked me off. But today, much better day. Was patient, took the trades that I felt were right and comfortable, and stuck with it. Okay. Majority of the day was not necessarily a trend day down, but we did one time frame down for majority of the day until the most recent time frames. The last three, we had been one time framing up, and now we're back to a balance on the intraday. I only took a handful of trades today, ended up netting 1180.66 after commission, so made back majority after losing 1800 yesterday. So very, very happy. One particular trade that I'm extremely pleased with was the short in K period on the push up here, looking to come back into the point of control that was down at 40 or 54.75 at the time, or right now as we speak. It was 9 wide. We created it to be 10 wide. I was actually looking for it to get back to 55.50 initially because I didn't know if we would raise point of control and then continue to move up. Right now we are making new lows in L period as we speak. So made a really, really good trade up here. Took a long down at the lows of the day. Not necessarily 44.75. I took it in an earlier time frame around the 48 level. If I pull up this where all the trades were recorded, actually I ended up taking a short initially at 47, but was not feeling very comfortable with it, so I covered quickly only for about a tick gain on that. And then I decided to buy a 3 lot, bought 49.50, 48.50, and 46.50. Sold those out at 49.75, 53.50, and 53. So that was right around this range right in here is where I was buying on the 1 minute chart. Right around this range is where I was buying, where we're doing this a little bit of consolidation after pulling near the lows. Was looking for that. Let me make sure that was the right trade. Make sure. It was earlier. It was down here I was buying. So in this range, I should say, I was buying in this range on the new lows of the day, looking for us to come back up because we had a wide point of control at the time, sitting around that 55 level at the time. Is like 55.50 was the point of control at the time, and I was looking for us to come back into that, so I faded the extreme. That worked out very well. Ended up getting that out for a pretty good profit. I decided to take a quick scalp short on a push up in one of the time frames at 56.25, got out 54.25, and then took out then I shorted, impatiently shorted, I should say, on this push up. I shorted 56.75. I shorted, what were the other prices? I can't remember. 58.50 and 61.50. I should have been more patient and shorted above VWAP instead of below it. I wasn't, I was kind of like, all right, maybe we will hold below it and then roll back over to the point of control in the next time frame. Wasn't quite expecting us to push up as much as we did, but taking the short against the middle distribution from yesterday was the more significant trade, or the better trade in my opinion. Pretty much that was the best trade of the day because how it lined up with middle distribution, right? So it was definitely a better short opportunity there around that 62, 61 level to come back into the point of control in the next time frame. And look at this. Had I held it, I would have been a real contender on the downside. I actually thought about having my bid in around the 50s level, which was value low, because usually when you push up like that, buyers get extremely excited. They get trapped up here and then they start to give it all up. But was happy to bring it back down to where I thought point of control was going to be at 55.50. And as you can see here, that's where all of those exits were. Buy at 55.50, buy at 55.50, buy at 55.50. So very happy with how I traded on the day, especially with how we were one time framing down all day long. We got some downside destinations and put ourselves back into a balance on the daily. I'm going to say that this balance is fairly large balance now. You can call it a 2-day balance if you want. I'm going to call it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-day balance. And I'm going to use this high up here at 97 as the balance high. And then I'm going to use 37.75 as a balance low. Now, I know I'm all over the place with this video, but keep in mind, yesterday's video, I pointed out the, for the last 2 videos, I pointed out how finding acceptance above 71 was very important to me. Today, look at where our highs were, 68.50. Yesterday, we traded above 71, but had a very, very hard time holding above it. Ended up closing back below that 71 key level for me. And then look at this, today's high, 68.50, stayed below 71. I described in yesterday's video what buyers do not want to see is us open up in the middle or the lower distribution. They wanted to open up above the afternoon rally high, taking back the single prints, getting into the upper distribution, and potentially getting the high of day, continuing to one time frame up, which is what we were doing. So instead, today we opened up in the middle distribution, took back this set of single prints down here, but end up trading in the lower distribution for majority of the morning, chopping around after taking out the day's low. And then we didn't necessarily go trend down, but we did one time frame down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 time frames in a row before getting a little bit of a relief rally for 2 time frames. And then now in L period, just the last time frame, we came in pretty good back to that point of control. We're looking to get 11 wide currently at the 54.75 level. So if M period can push up to that 54.75 level, we will become 11 wide. So let's go ahead and mark our destinations that we know. You can, I guess, call K period's high an afternoon rally high, 63.25. Today's high was 68.50. You can call it an afternoon rally high. It's not textbook. It is kind of close to the day's high. But the fact that it was where the middle distribution from the previous day was, I think that is a very interesting level, and we'll keep an eye on that. So we'll mark it as an afternoon rally high, unless of course M period pushes all the way up and takes it out, takes back the open, and takes out the higher day that I'm about to mark. So let's go ahead and mark today's destinations. Also, I need to get better about pressing record when I'm taking these positions so I can kind of show you guys my trade and thought process while I'm in it. But yeah, that was basically the gist of the trade, was value high against the middle distribution, looking to rotate back down into that point of control. That was the best trade of the day, in my opinion. The fade of the extreme was a little bit risky, innovative, but worth the risk, in my opinion. Definitely could have came in more and taken me out, but I will, happy to have made some on that trade as well. Afternoon rally high here at 63.25. We are now officially 10 wide at 45 or 54.75. So I will mark that level as a 10 wide point of control, as we just hit it in M period as I'm speaking right now. So 10 wide point of control, 11:30, 23 is today's date, and mark it yellow, boom. And then we have today's low of day down at 44.75. Now, like I said, you can call this a 2-day balance if you would like. It's an art, not a science. You don't have to agree with me, but I'm calling 37.75 as my balance low, and we'll use this entire range as one big balance. So if tomorrow, Friday, we open up and take out today's low, 44.75, and take out 37.75, we will be one time framing down, and then your next target on the downside is going to be 24.50, which is our weekly low from last week. If we take that out, we have an opportunity to put the weekly back into a balance. For now, it is one time framing up, and I still think it has been actually, I think it's it's still one time framing up, as we took out last week's high by just a small margin. And if we take out last week's low, somehow miraculously on the last or in the beginning of the month of December, that would be a terrible start in my opinion for the month of December. So we'll see how we trade into tomorrow. Until then, I expect a whole lot of chop. If we open above 54.75, look to come up into that 63.25 level, afternoon rally high. If you get that, you will get the day's high at 68.50, and then I can expect a whole lot of chop, probably between 78 and then basically 55. I can see a whole lot of chop in that range, which was basically the middle distribution from yesterday. I can see that happening. So, and then obviously if we get that afternoon rally high at 45.78, excuse me, you will go fill fingerprints 82.75, 83.50, and then work your way into that upper distribution, which I don't see happening at this very moment. Buyers and sellers both pretty freaking weak at this moment. Let's go ahead and look at the larger time frames. We'll look at, since it is the last day of the month, we'll go ahead and look at all three time frames. We'll look at the monthly, we'll look at the weekly, and the daily. So right now, the monthly, as we come into the close, is a firm 5-month balance. We're going to be using July's high of 46.3350 as that balance high, and then October's low of 41.2250 as the balance low. We can chop inside of this range for the next month. Very good, very possible, or we could take it out to the upside at 46.3350 and then go and attack the all-time high back from January of 2022 at 48.0825. If not, so far we've gotten near this balance high. Let's see if we get near it again in December and roll back over, defending that balance high on the monthly. Now the weekly, not looking as strong as it has been. Range is beginning to contract a little bit, and our extension above previous weekly high is beginning to retract just a hair. Okay, so look at the extensions above the previous highs that we've gotten, especially this one. Now volume starting to decrease just a hair from last week, and then coming into this week picking up, but on the downside after taking out last week's high. So if we take out last week's low, we can come into a balance, and it would be a potential for an outside week down, and then we'd look to see how much we get on the next week come in December. So weekly, still one time framing up. Odds do favor taking out a previous week's high, so we look next week to take out this week's high, but we still have a day of trading left to see if we come down and take out last week's low. So we can see how we end up in that. Now our daily has come back to balance. So could you say we technically did the second rule, which is stretch a balance high? Yes, you can, but initially we looked to be one time framing up just because of how much we took out that balance high. We took it out about 17 handles to the upside. So that wouldn't be necessarily called stretching it, but now we are firmly back into a balance by taking out yesterday's high, or excuse me, yesterday's low. So we will mark yesterday's high as the balance high now, our new balance high at 97. Okay, that is now our balance high. And then 37.75 is going to continue to be the balance low. So once again, look to chop inside of this range until we find some more market generated information to take us out. We have the 20-day moving average creeping up now at 44.9525. Like I said, if we take out last week's low, we can get some downside movement to those downward destinations and potentially back test the 20-day moving average. Things are kind of changing, but until one side or the other kind of determines which way we go, I'm not going to be too biased one way or the other, just kind of looking to see where the market generated information leads me. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll catch you guys in the next one, and see ya.